Alpha to Omega, Chapter 29 reading, Athens Reacts to Bad News, Part 1. Okay, so we'll handle the second part in the next chapter. So, De Corona, on the crown, that's Latin for on the crown, was a very famous speech by Demosthenes. Now, Demosthenes is considered by many to be the greatest of the Greek orators and statesmen. So he lives during the time when Philip of Macedon is threatening to overrun southern Greece, and he did eventually, and unify the country. Okay? This is the father, of course, of Alexander the Great. So let's read. The passage below is the first half of an excerpt from On the Crown, a famous speech made by Demosthenes, the great Athenian orator and statesman around 330 BC. In the speech, Demosthenes vigorously defends himself against charges brought by his rival, Aeschines, another great orator, by the way, who opposed the bestowal of an honorary crown on Demosthenes. So the honorary crown was kind of like our Medal of Honor, or something like that the president gives. So it was one of the highest civic awards you could have gotten in the city of Athens. So it's kind of a crowning achievement to Demosthenes' career. As he reviews and compares the services rendered to Athens by Aeschines and by himself, Demosthenes recalls the fateful evening in 339 when the Athenians learned that Philip II, king of Macedonia, along with his formidable army, had occupied Elatia, I should say. You see that word right here in the first line of the reading, Elatia, okay? A town strategically located at the intersection of several trade routes about 70 miles northwest of Athens. So it's getting close. Now, what do we need to remember just in general about this? Well, the first thing we need to remember is this is a speech. As such, being a speech, you're going to expect a lot of second person plural, like you have in line 3 there with akousaté. And you'll have to decide from the context whether it's imperative or indicative, second singular. Okay, but let's start here with the first paragraph. So Philip, of course, refers to Philip of Macedon. Okay, what kind of Philip is he? He is an echon. Okay, and what does he echon? He has echon this. There's my direct objective. Okay, direct objective. What am I saying? Direct object. Okay. All right. Now, this next phrase. Remember, if you try to take it in English word order, you're going to end up with a passive verb, and you shouldn't do that. Okay, because what case do we have here, right? Accusative. But look at this entire chunk. Okay, goes all the way here. Okay, so this is the direct object of this. And we have a men de construction, so there is there's a contrast here. Now, this is an interesting phrase. Anagkaios means necessary. Okay, here in the participle form, the necessary things themselves. You notice it's neuter. Okay, so he tells them, akousete hamos autata anagkaiatata. So the necessary things themselves. So what does he mean here? Well, basically what he has said is this: I'm not going to tell you absolutely everything. I'm just going to refer you to the important details, because you've heard a lot of this already. Okay, so that's kind of the thrust of the whole paragraph. Now we get into the story. It was a dark and stormy night. Well, okay, it was just night. Okay. Now, here we have an indefinite, don't we? Okay, it goes with that participle, right? Well, it really, I mean, it's the subject of this verb, right? So, tis eiltha angelon. That's the way you got to think of it. That's kind of the word order you have to think of it. Okay? I made a mention of what the Pretanes were earlier. They were minor officials in the city of Athens, government officials, city officials. Here we have the name of that city again. Active or passive, guys? Active or passive? Kataileptai. Kataileptai. Active or passive? Right? Remember, when we have prepositional phrases, what letter is missing here? Huh? Okay. Now, we have hoimen, da-da-da-da-da-da, and way down here we have hoida. So this is a long sentence, but don't let it freak you out, all right? Don't let it freak you out, because if you just break things down, this is an adverb, oithes, okay, homen, what kind of homen are they? Okay, they are leipontes. Okay, what are they leipontesing? Ta deipnon. Okay, now we have, this word right here, tous. Now here we just have an article, right? And how would I translate that? Just those as we go on. Ektein skenon, which ones? Okay, ton kata tein agaran egairan. Okay, that all actually goes together. All right, and now others. Okay, here's my main verb right here. And here, the Sulbigtain, he was an official government employee, the official herald or the announcer, the trumpeter, if you will. Make sure you get the tense of this verb right here. Look at it carefully. Remember, it comes from kaleo. Kaleo. So it's an epsilon contract verb. Go back to chapter 15. Remember where we have to worry about contracts, right? Either in what two tenses? What two tenses? Okay. Now, what kind of polis is it? It is a pleires thorubu. Pleires thorubu. Okay. Now, here's a dative chunk, right? And it's a time word. Okay, so make sure you translate that accurately. There was an example of the similar construction in the chapter 29 sentences. Okay, we have yet another, well, actually we have hoimen de, well, not really hoimen. It's not hoimen hoide, but we do have men de again. So another contrast that Demosthenes is making between various groups of people. So, again, there's my accusative. Here's my nominative. Here, same verb. Okay, make sure you translate it correctly. Prepositional phrase doesn't get interrupted. Now, the bouleuterion is kind of like the Athenian council chamber. The root boule means plan, okay, and the boule was actually called the council. Bouleio, the verb, means to plan or devise. Okay, so the city planning commission, they would be temporarily housed in the bouleuterion. It was in the Athenian agora, okay, but you, eistain ecclesian, etrepseste. And remember what trepo means in the middle passive. Okay. Now, the ecclesia was the official assembly of all Athenian citizens. Okay, so in order to make laws, pass laws, usually they figured that the max of the ecclesia was about 6,000. Okay, so the official assembly of the city is the ecclesia. This, of course, becomes the New Testament word for the church. So, and we get our word ecclesiastical naturally from that as well. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. The first paragraph sets a little background, but remember it's a speech. And so who is Demosthenes talking to? Keep that in mind, right? He's directing his comments towards specific citizens. All right? So it's about 10 lines. I think if you follow the chunking here, it'll go pretty smoothly, right? Pay attention to the endings, especially the tense endings on the verbs and participles. This ends the pre-reading for Alpha to Omega, Chapter 29, Athens Reacts to Bad News, Part 1.